We don't know the hour or the day. Time is such a gift, try and control your destiny. We don't know the hour or the day. Unity is strength, let's stand as one without delay. Cause no bad vibe me a John. Me no want no bad vibe me a John. I just peace the times all around, yeah. No bad vibe me a John. No bad vibe me a chant. Say me no want no bad vibe me a chant. I just peace good time all around, yeah. No bad vibe me a chant.
Up, everybody! How you guys doing today? Thank you for coming in for another episode of Death Taught Us How to Live, where we get survivors of near-death situations and they tell us about how they transform their tragedy into a victory. And this week is no different. We're going to have a great time. Hope you guys are ready to ask your questions. And if you are watching us, if you do want to ask your questions and you want them to be on our screen, go over to the YouTube channel. That is AVM Superhero and check out that particular live. Also, you can check me out on Facebook, Gregory Graham, if you find that there, or you go into our Death Taught Us How to Live Facebook group. We also are streaming live on TikTok and also as Twitch, but I won't be able to see your information on the screen. I'll be looking over there periodically, but if you want your information to be on our screen live, go over to YouTube, AVM Superhero. So enough about that. Let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. It's amazing when a person have a near-death experience, they go through this type of transformation and they see life differently. They don't want to look like a person that is less than a person anymore. They don't want anything like that to be part of their vocabulary. And the guy that I have here, he has the same type of vibrant energy. He is a man that I look at on TikTok. His name is Survivor Sal, or Stroke Survivor Sal. And I've been watching him, and his energy is so infectious. You can't even tell that he had a stroke, even though he did have a stroke. But there's a reason behind that. So I'm going to bring him onto the screen so he could tell you his story and why he's so adamant to letting people know that there is life after a stroke. So without any further ado, let's get Stroke Survivor Sal on the screen. Hello,
Listen,
sir.
hey, it's an honor to be here. And you say I'm so infectious. Well, that's because I didn't know you had a jamming theme song. I'm still rocking, bro. That is some good stuff.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Actually,
Let me tell you, you know how important you are and what you do? There's a Yankee game on right now, and I'm not watching it because of you. Not many people will get me away from that TV screen when the Yankees are on.
who
But I
they
still
playing
got to
tonight?
represent.
Who they playing tonight?
Who cares? No,
I hear you. I hear you. Well, hey, we can watch the highlights on ESPN.
they're playing the Mariners.
Oh, they playing the Mariners? Well, that might be
Yeah.
an interesting game. But let's get back to you, Sal. And I thank you so much for coming on and taking that dedicated time that you have for your Yankees and you coming to this show to actually talk about stroke awareness.
Well,
And about
what you do is so very important. This is awesome what you do. Congratulations. I'm honored to be here. Thank you for asking.
no problem, sir. No problem. So without any further ado, without me just hogging up all the spotlight, can you tell us what actually happened to you on that unfaithful day so we could get a better understanding of who is Stroke Survivor Sal?
Whew. November 9th, 2021 is when I had my stroke. I was a TV reporter and it had been a hectic news day. I was supposed to be live at 5 with a story, and I was. Um, but the stress of getting that on the air, it's a stressful job anyway. I felt so tired and exhausted after I had done my live shot. And then um, I felt like I was in a daze, like something. I knew something was wrong, but I just thought it was excessive tiredness. So I went home and I said, okay, I'll just sleep this off. That was a mistake because when I woke up the next day, I couldn't talk, I couldn't stand up. And when I did, I started leaning over to my left side. I had an ischemic stroke, paralyzed my entire left side. couldn't walk, couldn't talk, which was good for some people. um, but yeah, I was rushed to the hospital, and they told me what happened. They said another half hour, and I may have been dead. That's scary to hear.
I hear that a lot, Sal, and a lot of people say they had this thing happen to them, then they go home and they completely ignore it. Can we talk about that a little bit more about those symptoms and how you felt? Was it something that was very major, or did you just think it was like a headache or some kind of flu that you had and you just brush it off?
No, you know what it was at first for me? It was more like, it's hard to describe, but it was more like an airy feeling, like I was floating, like in my head I was floating. Um, like it was a haze. Things weren't right. It was like I was off balance, but I wasn't. I could still stand up, I could still talk, I could still walk at that early time. But when I woke up the next morning, that's when I really felt it. But that's why I said I'll sleep it off, because like I said, it was a hectic day, and I could still talk, walk, stand, do all that. So I learned the hard way that wasn't the case the next morning when I woke up.
You know what, Sal? I hear, like I said, I hear that a lot, and people just don't understand that. Are you familiar with the acronym of Be Fast?
Yes, I am.
Can you
And
explain that to people so they can understand what that is, so they can not take this lightly if they have this type of symptoms that you had?
okay, you're gonna have to help me out here because I know it, but it's be fast. Face. If you have facial drooping, like to the one side, that's a sign that you're having a stroke. Uh, Face. I know the T is time.
Man, you
Uh,
chopping the whole thing up, brother. You chopping.
Time is crucial.
All right,
Uh,
I'll help you out. We could go. We could go through it at the same time. It's
Thank you.
be fast. So the B is if the balance is off. If you see the person's balance off, or if your balance is off, like you're just walking, all of a sudden you're stumbling. There's no reason or rhyme to it, and you just falling. That's a problem.
And again,
Um,
that happened to me the next morning, so I knew something was wrong.
okay. E is your eyes. If your eyes are going all over the place, is not focusing and things like that, or you just having this particular problem, you have eye drooping and all that, that's a problem too. Fast is basically more of the face. When paralysis starts kicking in, or you see a person's face just completely look like it's upside down smile on one side, that's a problem too.
And
A
see, I
is
didn't notice that with me. But when you smile, it takes a lot. See, how's my smile? It takes a while for the smile to get straight. When you have a stroke, the side that is affected
yeah.
kind of droops down, so it's more like that.
Exactly. So that's another tail sign. If your face starts drooping, you should need to take care of that. A lot of people ignore those particular signs. And A is for the arm. If your arm starts getting weak on one particular side, like you're lifting something up and all of a sudden you can't grip or you can't hold things, it just completely fall. Like you're holding a purse and all of a sudden the purse drops out of your hand. If you're holding your wallet, it falls out of your hand. S is your speech is starting to slur.
Thank you. That's exactly what it was.
And then
It's
T, as Sal
exactly
said, what was T, Sal?
time.
It's
The
time.
sooner
It's time.
the sooner you get yourself some medical care and proper medical attention, the better off you'll be in the long run if you are in fact having a stroke.
I don't think people understand that part. And that's the reason why I wanted to bring that up, Sal, because a lot of people don't understand that time is of the essence. Every second that you waste, you're completely destroying brain cells and they're never going to
That
come
can
back.
save your life. Yeah.
Mhm. So you need to get up and call 911. Or if you see someone having those symptoms, it's time to call 911. That is really for more of ischemic people. And what I call ischemic is if you have a blood clot or you get oxygen deprived to the brain. There's another type
Yeah.
of stroke called a hemorrhagic stroke. That's when you
Yeah.
have bleeding. Totally different. Some people might have nausea. Some people might have extremely rough headaches, feels like a migraine. So these are the things that you need to be looking out for if you do have a stroke.
Ischemic here.
Ischemic. I'm a hemorrhagic, so we're almost brothers. We're like distant brother cousins, we could say.
Okay, well, I'm out of here then. No.
Sal, let me ask you something. I see you on TikTok, and I see that you do a lot of informative stuff. You got your therapist helping you out sometimes, and you're doing all this. Why are you doing it, and what's the purpose that you want to do this on TikTok? And just tell us why this is all happening for us right now.
You know what? My old TV station in Norfolk, Virginia, did a story. They came all the way up from Virginia to chronicle my battle back from a stroke during Stroke Awareness Month. I was touched by that. And one of the anchors at 13 News Now is what they're called. I'll give them a shout out. ABC in Norfolk, Virginia, Ashley Smith said to me, Sal is telling his own story and is doing it in such a great way, informing others. And I bring that up because I'm a journalist at heart. And I think through TikTok, it's allowed me to still tell the story through me about if you do have a stroke, what the recovery looks like, what you can expect. You can still be a stroke survivor and a thriver. And I wanted to empower people. I wanted to give them the good information like you just gave with the Be Fast. And I wanted to let them know exactly what is in store for you. Each person's stroke experience is different, but many of the same exercises are there for all of us to try to tackle if we want to get better. If we want to get our voice back, you do the speech therapy. If you want to get your hand back or your arm back and try to learn how to function in the house, out in public, whatever, that's your occupational therapy. And your physical therapy is trying to literally stand on your own again and learn how to walk again and power through all that. And through these videos, I'm able to report to our stroke warrior community out there what you can do, what's in front of you, and how not to give up. That's what I really wanted to try to convey to people. And the gift I've been getting back is through comments and people saying thank you, people who for some reason can no longer go to stroke recovery therapy and can try to do some of what we're doing at home on their own. I mean, like with arm raises I show, that is a beautiful gift. And when you say death taught us how to live, that is positivity I'm able to bring out there in the world, and the world is bringing it back to me. That is such a great gift because in the news business, we often, go out and report about crime and negative things, and it wears on you. But through this, I'm still able to use my editing skills to create my videos and photography skills to shoot the videos and my storytelling skills to show what I'm going through, what I'm feeling, the power of positive thinking and putting it back out into the world, and people are accepting it and it's encouraging others, which is so great. That's all I want to do.
Okay, okay, I get that, and you said a mouthful with that, and I really understand that.
See, because I can talk again. People are talking. Now I talk too much.
No. You talked the just amount that I need to go to my next question, and the next question is, why do you feel that was so important for you to put that out there? I know you said that a lot of people not going to therapy anymore, and you're showing this therapy. Did you see a void out there that people was not getting this information out there from the regular community that they have around them, that you had to go on TikTok and do this? Or was this something because you had this talent and you say, you know what, I need to give back to this world? What was the real motivation behind that?
I don't think there's any kind of void because I didn't know about the stroke warrior community on TikTok before I had a stroke. I wasn't aware of it. I just knew that I did a story on my medical service organization, Gaylord Specialty Healthcare here in Connecticut. Before I had my stroke, I actually did a story on them. I went inside Gaylord Hospital in Wallingford, Connecticut, and saw a therapist working on a young serviceman who came back with injuries, and he was trying to get back up on his feet, and his life had changed. His mother had to help wash him. I mean, he couldn't do anything independently, but he had a spirit based on who he is, and the physical therapists and all the health workers at Gaylord were so great to him, boosting his spirits, boosting his confidence, telling him he can hope, he can be strong again, telling him he's tougher than a stroke, to think possible. I saw that. And when I was a patient, I felt that I was getting it. And so it was then when I said, you know what? We're doing something special here. I feel encouraged. I'm an outgoing person anyway, so I always like to talk and share. And I said, this TikTok would be an excellent vehicle to let people know that we are not stroke victims, we are stroke warriors. We can have a life after a stroke. And
Now,
that's it. Never give up on yourself. So that's what started me into this. And now I'm addicted. I put out content as often as I can, and it's been great. It's really helped in my recovery mentally, because if your head's not in the right place, I don't think you're going to succeed much on the path to recovery. It fuels me, and I hope to give some of that fuel to other people.
I want to talk on that in just a moment. But we have some people from Instagram saying hello to you. I have Super Villain, Vinny. He's actually saying hi. So, like I said, guys,
Can I stop you for a minute? Can I stop you for a second?
all right.
Vinny was my peer mentor in Gaylord Hospital when I was a patient there. They have this great program that allows other stroke warriors to come talk to you and share their experiences. And Vinny really helped get me through some tough times. Vinny has seen me at my worst and still talks to me. And he's on here supporting this program tonight. Vinny, I hope you're doing well. He's awesome. That's great.
He is.
You are helping to bring people together, man.
You know, he is a good guy. I met him one time in New York. He's a good kid, man. I like him a lot. He has great infectious energy. His mom is pretty cool too. So, Vinny, say hi to your mom for us, okay, sir? Um, you're bringing up something very important. I think that a lot of people on the outside don't understand is that when we come home from the hospital or if we're in acute rehab, we're getting worked on our bodies, and that is fine and dandy. But there's something that's been taken away from us. Especially, I can't speak for a woman, but for a man, something that's been taken away from us, our strength, our dignity. People got to wash us, wipe our butts, and things like that. And we feel like we're not a man again. And nobody really explains to us that you are still a man. You are still attractive. You still are a viable part of society. So, can you talk about how important it was when you saw Vinny and he was getting you out of those dark spaces, and how important it was for you to actually say, "I want to help people get out those dark spaces as well"? How important was that? And was it a issue that you didn't have those particular therapists to help you out with your mental state, or did you? Can you talk about that for me, sir?
Honestly, the first time I met Vinny, I had just completed my therapy work for the day, and I was looking forward to a good rest in my bed for the rest of the afternoon. And then I'm like, I hear this knock on the door. I'm like, oh man, who is this dude? But it ended up being a good knock, because Vinny, just by communicating with me, having a real discussion, um, because it was terrifying. It's like, how do we pay for this? How do we go forward? What's life going to look like for me when I get out? He was able to really give me some great conversation and advice and information. And my mother, who was in my hospital room at the time visiting me, she was able to meet Vinny's mother, who talked to her on a parental level. So that gave me peace of mind too, because I didn't want to scare my mother even more than I already had. And that was very, very important to me. Establishing those kind of bonds, finding someone you can have real conversations with, that gives you some sense of clarity going forward. You know, you're putting in your own work to doing the exercises that they tell you, but to have somebody to really open your heart to with helps you and your family so much. And when I saw all of this coming together in my rehab hospital, the commitment to the therapist, making me do my exercises, do my work, and then having this special program like the peer mentorship program, I was like, this is giving me the will to want to succeed. And I've always tapped into this part of myself. I'm so competitive at anything. Like I just met my friends at a Dave and Buster's the other day, and their little boys, like 8 years old, are challenging me in that Connect Four game where you throw the basketball up and it lands in one of the rows. And I wanted to beat this 8-year-old kid, but he beat me. But that part of me is so important. That competitiveness, that drive, that gets me up on my feet and walk over the hurdles, walk up the stairs, walk down the hiking trail, try to raise my arm. My dream is to throw a baseball again. And, oh, this is the highest I've gotten right here. This is the
On our show?
Taught Us How to Live exclusive. Look at
that. That's beautiful, brother. That's beautiful.
that. Exclusive. Whoa.
Yeah, I love that for you, brother. I love that for you, man.
I can throw underhand. My hand can't open it, quickly enough, but it's coming along. But this is the highest I've ever. Look at that.
Look at you, sir. Look at you.
Oh my gosh, this is awesome. And this wouldn't have been happening if I was just sitting down watching the Yankees play. So thank you.
See you go. There you go. Then see now you got to take down that banner and put a picture of me up there, or Dev Taught Us How to Live, and that motivates you even more, sir. But
listen though, it is tapping into what drives you, your inner fire. For me, it's always been competition in sports and playing in games, and that's what I've really been able to draw from to treat my therapy like it's a big game. I call my therapy days game days. And so I go in there with that attitude. Give me a challenge. I'm going to do it. I'm going to conquer it. And I also make my own challenges at home, whether my microwave is above my oven. So, trying to raise my arm up to pull the handle. That's me doing therapy at home. And now I've gotten so good that I purposely set the microwave to 5 seconds and try to reach up and pull it open before it goes off. Those kind of things challenge me. They fuel me. They had kept me going. And I love that. That part about stroke recovery therapy is wonderful because instead of waking up feeling sorry for myself, like you said, it's a humbling experience in the hospital when you can't do things for yourself.
Right.
But now, instead of waking up saying, oh, I can't do anything else, I wake up saying, what new small miracle am I going to accomplish today? And I go about doing that. You just saw one of them. This was mine for today.
And I'm so proud of you actually doing that. Well, like saying that we have some comments coming on side of it. So let's read one of the comments and get back to our story. So I got something coming here from Trezana Staples. Oh, Trezana is one of the people like you was talking about with Vinny, helping me out in the beginning and still friends to me to this day. It's probably like 7 years now. She said, absolutely, we are survivors, a phoenix rising. And that's her mantra right there. Always talking about phoenix rising, we're coming from the ashes, we're reborn, reinventing ourselves. And I think that's very important for us to understand. Now, Sal, when I look at you, I see how infectious you are. I see how your energy wants to go out to people, and people are gravitating to you. Like I said that I was going to interview. Then I had people in my Facebook groups that I didn't know. They said, "Oh, I know this guy. He used to be a news reporter in my town." I'm very interested in hearing his story.
Oh, wow.
Hopefully you
That's
come
a
on.
big
I'm not sure if she's on. If she's on, she could put a comment in there, and we can actually put her on here. Um,
awesome. That's great.
yeah, I said, man, I didn't know Sal was this much of a celebrity. He's a big time celebrity. People
And I
I don't even know. People.
gay because of you. I'm not
No, it's
gonna.
not me. It's not me, sir. Don't put it on me. It's on you, sir. It's on you. But I want to go back to something that you was talking about with Vinny, and I need you guys to understand how important it is. Sal was saying that he just finished therapy. He was tired, and somebody knocked on his door. And when that person knocked on his door, things changed in his life because he was there at the dark times. I think a lot of us want to close it out, close out the world, close out everybody because we think nobody understands. But there are people out there that want to come out and help you. And you need to come out of your shell and allow people to come into your life. I know, and Sal, I want you to piggyback off of this if you can. I know how hard it was and how hard it is. You can't see tomorrow. Yesterday, you probably was walking. You're probably running a marathon, and today you could barely get out of bed. I understand that frustration, but I think Sal said it best earlier. You have to move towards that energy of being right with yourself so you can actually get better with your body, because if you don't get right with your mind, your body's not going to follow.
Mhm.
Can you break down that a little bit further for me, sir?
I sure can. You know what I said? I said, screw it. This is not going to be me for the rest of my life. I am going to get up. I'm going to get out of this bed and I am going to walk. That was my goal. I never lost sight of that. Thank God it's been able to happen for me. If it hasn't happened for any of you yet, don't worry about it. Tell yourself, give yourself a goal. When I was, the worst parts for me being in the hospital were weekends because we didn't have therapy. I was never bored um, during the week in that hospital because they always had us doing this therapeutic schedule and they kept us busy throughout the day. I like that. It kept me focused. What's the next thing I'm going to accomplish? What's the next thing I'm going to try? Give yourself points for trying. The results may not be where you want them to be yet, but as long as you're trying, you are on the right path. And that's what I said. I said, screw this. I'm going to keep trying to keep going. But like I said, Saturdays were the toughest times for me because we didn't have therapy. My life went from looking forward to Saturdays to looking forward to Mondays. So when I was in the hospital and I could not move my left leg at all, I couldn't move my arm, my hand. I remember saying, God, if you let me walk again one day, and I will go on Saturday strolls to beautiful places outside of my neighborhood as a tribute to how far I've come and a tribute as a promise kept to that old Sal who was a stroke victim or stroke patient in that hospital bed. Now I'm standing tall. I'm a stroke warrior. I go out there. It's been over 3 years, and every single Saturday, my friend and I, we've driven away from home to a beautiful state park, to New York City, to other places to experience nature, get out there and do those Saturday strolls, walk a long distance to show you can do it. You're not just surviving, you're thriving. And that's what I'm doing right now. I kept that promise to myself. Talk to yourselves, make a promise, encourage yourselves. This may sound strange, but one of the craziest things that was said to me is one of the best things that was said to me. Talk to your body part that's affected by the stroke that you want to heal and get better. Do you know how many conversations I had with my left leg? And now we're standing up, we're doing it, we're walking. And now we're trying to do the same thing with my left arm. It's all up here. Your mind is a powerful weapon in the battle for stroke recovery, and you got this. You can do it. Don't ever give up on yourselves. I'm taking you to church now, superhero.
Hey, man, take it, take it. Well, and I completely agree with you with all of that. I was at a point that I wanted to play basketball again. And I was an avid basketball player. I used to play every Thursday and also every Sunday religiously. I used to play basketball in the park in my neighborhood, and I couldn't play anymore. And something interesting happened to me, Sal. Um, I realized that my life is not basketball. And once I figured that out, I haven't played basketball since, but once I figured that out, I was much happier with myself and I was able to move on. So the question I have for you right now, Sal, is when you was in that dark place, did you know you was in a dark place? And if you did know, how did you get yourself out of it?
I knew I was in a dark place, but it wasn't a I don't want to, I was going to say it wasn't a bad place. It wasn't an evil place. I saw every single day at my rehab hospital people working so hard to try to walk again, and therapists helping this person try to walk, this person try to navigate the wheelchair, this person over here just trying to open his or her hand. When I had my stroke, we were in the middle of COVID, and there was so much negativity and crap going on in the real world that I told myself, right here, I'm witnessing so many acts of kindness, people from different backgrounds helping each other try to get better, that my rehab hospital became my cocoon, shut out the outside world and focus on my world, what I need to do. And patients would cheer each other on. I remember the day I was able to walk from one end of the room to the other of our gym, and three people were clapping, even though they had difficulty working their hands like I do right now. But they were in the wheelchairs going like this, or they would see me do that, and even though I wasn't looking as good as I obviously did before my stroke in terms of walking or running or whatever, they saw that and they would come to me and say, Sal, I hope to be able to walk as good as you someday. That attitude, that positivity carried me so many minutes, hours, days, months, weeks. I got that out of order, but you know what I mean. Their philosophy at Gaylord Hospital is think possible. And that's what I always try to tell people in my TikTok videos. At Stroke Survivor Sal, plug. Um, because, like I said, if you can get yourself in the right state of mind, you can do anything. Go for it. Never ever give up. And that's what's gotten me through those bad times. I know it sounds easier said than done, but it's been a freaking battle.
No, I get it, and I'm glad you did say that. But you did say something interesting earlier about that. He was like, just do those small little victories. And when you do those small little victories, they turn into bigger things. And I think that's where people don't see. They don't see those small little victories. They don't remember them. I used to have a journal. I still have that journal with me to this day. This little journal right here. And I wrote the day I got out of the hospital, I wrote, how I was feeling. Then I go back and read them like, dang, I was that particular person. I didn't even realize I was that particular person. And you said something very interesting earlier too. You said you was a stroke survivor, and now you're not that person no more. You're a stroke thriver. Um, I really want you to drill home that shift in mentality. I know we've been talking about that shift somewhat, but I want you to really explain, the power of your words, because now you're talking about something very different. Now you're talking about how you can mentally transform the way your body reacts to your recovery. Can you break that down to us so people out there that's in that very bad place, how can they get out of it by using their words?
You're not going to get out of this by defeating yourself before you even give yourself a chance. It's having those conversations with yourself, inside yourself, when you talk to yourself and you tell yourself, is this going to be it for the rest of my life? Or am I going to get out of this bed? Am I going to get out of this wheelchair? Am I going to get out of this AFO leg brace? Your mind is your most powerful weapon next to your heart. And if you have a true conversation with yourself, you can do this. Like we mentioned before, I used to like to play in a lot of sports leagues. You mentioned basketball. You may not be able to shoot a 3-pointer right now, but give yourself a chance. Take those baby steps. Those baby steps are huge steps. Every single TikTok video I see of somebody walking up one step and then two, then three, I feel it because that's been me. You see that spirit in them. Those people have had those conversations with themselves. I want to do this one day. I'm going to do this one day. And you know what? One day is today. And it starts with a simple conversation. Well, not a simple, but a basic conversation with yourself. Do you want to try to do this? Or are you going to settle for what you are right now? You
Sal,
can be better.
So you're saying a mouthful there, and I really appreciate you actually breaking this down for us, because I had that same type of situation too. I didn't even know I could move forward, but then I started using my words. I've been careful how I spoke to myself. I stopped saying, you're an idiot, or you're not enough, and I started talking positive to myself, and I started celebrating those small little victories. I go up one step. I'm like, yes, I made up one step, and I make a little dance for myself and all that. And other people might be looking at me. It's like, hey, you're looking crazy. Why are you celebrating about a step? I'm like, how hard that step was for me. And it's something that my personal journey is going through, not yours. So I really appreciate you actually speaking about that, sir.
You know what? If I could just add one more thing, I'll keep it short.
No, go
Um,
ahead.
Somebody wrote a comment to me after in one of my videos who said, when he walks outside with his cane, he feels embarrassed because people are looking at him and he can feel like their eyes just piercing through him. And then another person wrote to me, when I go to the gym, I can't do nearly as much or anything like I used to be able to do. You know what? There's a different definition of strong and strength. And just walking through that door, just walking outside, just being able to stand tall. My original physical therapist, Greg, told me when you walk across this room, you hold your head up high and be proud because you've gone through something the strongest man you see in the gym perhaps couldn't even survive, but you survived. You battled through and you're trying to get better. That's your dignity showing, and that's your strength. So I try to make videos to convey that. You know, look at me going into the gym. I can't do anything like I used to, but I'm doing something. I'm doing the treadmill more now than I should have been doing it before my stroke, but I'm doing it now. Again, death taught us how to live. So I'm taking care of myself in a better, stronger way, eating healthier, getting my regular exercise than I did before the stroke. I'm alive and I'm going to stay here. You've got to be able to realize you are better than your current circumstance. Come on, get up and fight. You can do this.
You know what, sir? I really appreciate you saying that. But the two things that you said about those two people, and I think they didn't even realize it. And this is the whole conversation that we're having now, is that they put those bad stigmas on themselves. Walking outside with a cane, you think everybody's staring at me. That's your subconscious is actually playing tricks on you. Nobody's really staring at you, and if they are, who cares? It's not their life; it's your life.
That's
Um,
right.
someone told me, and this helped me out tremendously. So people out there, if you're listening and you want to get some motivation, what Sal is telling you is completely true. I believe it 100%. And someone else told me the same exact thing. And they said to me, who told you you're disabled? Nobody came up to you and said that you're disabled. You're saying that to yourself. That's your definition. Now, maybe you can't do what you used to do before, but you're not that person that you was before. That person's not coming back. You having no pains, no deficits, you're gonna have them. Even if you get those completely erased and you're completely fine again, you still have the memory of having a stroke. So that person that you
Yes.
had before is not here anymore.
You know
Build
what?
a
That's
different
so
life.
true. Because I did that. I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to, I don't want to say bury that old guy, but I'm going to ignore that old guy and march forward. I'm going to take his best attributes and use them to create my new me. And my new me is not in this hospital bed at 24/7. It's hard to come to that point, but once you do, I think that's one of the first big steps in stroke recovery.
I think so too, man. It's all mental. Once you get past that hurdle, things get easier. Like I have pains on my side. My arm feels like pins and needles. My feet feel like pins and needle. And but once I got past, woe was me, Greg, woe was me, my life transformed. I started to live. That's what death taught me how to live. I stopped complaining. I stopped making excuses. And I just live. I have my shortcomings. Things happen to me, but still, that is human. That's what people do all the time. I think a lot of stroke survivors, and you could correct me if I'm wrong with this, a lot of stroke survivors get hard on themselves because they can't do something. Like, damn, I'm a failure. I'm a failure. But they forgot how long it took them to actually learn that skill in the first place.
Do you know what? Um, when I first got home from the hospital, my family, we had some place to go, and I was trying to dress myself. It took me 45 minutes to put
Yeah.
on one sock.
Yeah.
And my mother kept coming up saying, we've got to go. Do you need help? And I said, no, no. And she said, we might be late. I said, then we're going to be late. And I said, I apologize for speaking to you like that, Mom, but I'm going to do this.
Right.
I'm not going to, again, I'm competitive and stubborn. And that's helping me because I said, I am going to put on this damn sock. Bleep that out in post editing.
No, sir.
And you know what? I did put on that sock and I was so proud of myself. I mean, I was sweating. I need to take another shower, but um, I was so proud of myself that I did not give in and I did that. That is a huge victory for somebody like us.
Right.
Stay in the game, y'all. Stay in the game and fight no matter how long it takes. For some people, it takes a week to walk again or 5 seconds to put on a sock. For me, it took a few weeks to be able to walk again, not on my own, with my therapist holding me and, with the cane and stuff, the belt strap around my waist so I wouldn't fall.
Yeah, that
But I
gate belt,
graduated
the
from,
gate belt,
yeah,
huh?
gate belt. Thank you. See, you know all the official stuff. I'm like that thing they put around. But then eventually I made it to the parallel bars and made it to, those fake steps they have, like the 3, 4 steps.
Yeah.
And then to the hurdles, which were tough. And then they put those rubber bands on my feet. Oh, that was hard too.
Yeah.
But each single step, as long as you believe in yourself and tell yourself you are not a failure, you have dignity, stand tall and proud. Don't be embarrassed. Do you and do this that's in front of you. Each small victory adds up to a Super Bowl win, baby.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Mind over matter. Who cares what other people thinks? Because their life and what they do should not affect you.
Amen.
All right, brother. We're at the end of our show. So at this time, we do what's called our hot seat questions. So I'll ask you about 4 questions. And when you answer these questions, just say, AVM Superhero, I'm ready for my next question. And we'll go from there. So, Sal, are you ready for our hot seat questions?
ABM superhero, I'm ready for my next question.
All right. So here we go. Question number 1. Why is it important to you to inspire other survivors?
To give hope. So many of us can feel so defeated, like we addressed, but there's hope. I saw a patient named John in my stroke rehab group tearing up that treadmill one day. He was almost running on it. And I said to myself, I hope to be able to walk or run like John someday. And that became me. Like I mentioned earlier, when people saw me trying to walk across the gym, they're in their wheelchair saying, clapping for me, saying, Sal, I hope to be able to walk like you someday. We're all a big chain, everybody. If you see me do something in my video that looks easy, trust me, it's not. But I've been where you are, might be right now. I've taken those steps to put in the work, to listen to what my therapist tell me, to buy into the program, work hard. And I told myself I can do it. So we are all in this together. We can all inspire each other. And that's my mission. That's what I hope my videos really convey, a sense of optimism to think possible.
You didn't
AVM
say it.
superhero, I think I'm ready for the next question.
Now you said it. Now you said it. All right, cool. Question number 2, sir. Question number 2. Here it is. From your personal opinion, what do you think is the hardest part of a stroke recovery?
Oof. The hardest part is accepting where you are and picturing yourself getting better. Like I said before, once you make that decision and tell yourself it is possible, then you can proceed and everything goes upward, not in a straight path. It might go up, um, but you can get there if you work for it. One of the toughest parts of the stroke recovery, now that I'm really thinking about it, is, have you ever had to do a swallow test? Do you know what those are? I was in the hospital. It's so they can make sure you can swallow food and it doesn't become a choking hazard, because the stroke messed up my lung muscles. And they took these 2 wires. I'm sorry, this is graphic, this is bad. Took these 2 wires with a camera attached and shoved them up my nose, and they came down into my throat. I'm shaking, I'm screaming, I'm crying, I'm telling them stop. And they're holding my head saying, oh, please, keep your head steady, Mr. Blanks, try not to move. And I'm like, you try not to move with this stuff being shoved up there. But I failed the swallow test at a different hospital, the first hospital I was taken to before I was sent to my rehab hospital. I failed that test 3 times. And for that period of time, a couple of weeks, it felt like an eternity. I can only have a swab in my mouth that they dipped in water, and that was for 2 weeks. I couldn't eat anything. It was terrible. I get to Gaylord Hospital, my rehab hospital. I was looking forward to going there. I said, once I get there, I know I can make great strides in my recovery. First thing they said to me, Mr. Blanks, hello, before we get you in your room comfortable, we need to do one little simple swallow test. I said, oh no. But at Gaylord, they had these 2 pieces of x-ray equipment, and I sat in the chair. My speech pathologist said, are you ready? Look up. A light flickered. She looked at the x-rays and she said, good, would you like some applesauce? And I was like, whoa, this place is great. That was your swallow test? At that point, I bought into anything they told me, because they gave me applesauce, not a wet mouth swab to chew on. That was so great. And I was able to get food after that. That was hell.
Yeah, I
Going
remember
through
those
that
days. That same
experience,
thing happened to me. I had the same
that
thing
was
happen.
hell.
So you ready for your next question?
Avian superhero, can I please have another hot seat question? I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. Question number 3, sir. Question number 3. What advice would you give to your pre-stroke self?
Ooh. Work to live, not live to work. I was running myself ragged, um, all for my career, and that almost killed me. If I had kept up doing the same thing that I had been doing, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. But after having this stroke, I now realize going slower is not a bad thing, y'all. Going slower is not a bad thing. Take the time to look around you and appreciate the beauty that's around you. Appreciate the beautiful people who are around you. Appreciate yourself more. Give yourself a chance at loving life, not loving your next career goal or your next story or your next exclusive interview or your next deadline you got to crush. That literally drove up my blood pressure and got me in a bad place. Appreciate life. Slow down. It's not that bad. It's beautiful. That's probably the biggest thing I tell my pre-stroke self. And AVM superhero, I think I'm ready for another hot seat question. Dang.
All right, so here's your final question. And after I ask you this question, I'm gonna allow you to close up the show. So anything you want to say to the audience, it'll be your time. And guys, I bid you guys farewell after this question. Next week we'll have another awesome show on Thursday. I believe that's the 17th at 8 p.m. I think we have Aaron will be on. He will be talking about his life as well. So, Sal, here's your final question. Question number
We play
4.
Final Jeopardy. Do I have
Yeah,
to?
it's similar to that. It's similar to that. So I'll give you the music and everything. Do, do. No, I might get sued. Let me stop. All right. Question number 4. How did the threat of death teach you how to live?
I kind of just answered part of that. It taught me really to slow down and to appreciate the beauty around you, the people around you. Um, I was always running around so much that, like, now I stop and I see a bald eagle flying above me, and I'm like, damn, that's great. I see myself walking up these stairs, and I love myself more. It's like I used to go to the gym and thinking if you could bench a certain weight that that's strong, but look where I was after the stroke. I was brought into the rehab hospital on a gurney, and when I was released, I was walking out the front door. Look where I am. I was able to turn my mother's scared frowns into cheerful smiles. That is everything. Because I did not want to leave this earth before her. I don't want to do that to her. And I'm fighting to stay alive for her, for my friends, for my loved ones, for my family. It's been a remarkable journey. You never know what you have the power to do until you're forced to be in that position to try to do it. There is a strength in all of us that we don't know. And it comes down through the grace of God during an experience like this. That's why I say never, ever give up on yourselves. Find people to talk to. They may not completely understand, and give them some grace because they haven't been in the experience that you've been in. But give yourself a pat on the back. Don't harp on negativity. Oh, I can't do this like I used to. I can't do that. But look what you can now, or look what you're trying to do now. Because if you keep trying, there's a better chance that you will be able to do it there's less of a chance that you'll be able to do it if you don't give yourself a chance to try it all. Never ever give up on yourself, stroke warriors. Think possible, and remember, we are tougher than a stroke. That's all I wanted to say here. And if you liked some of what I was babbling about today, sorry I talked too much. Ever since I got my words back, I told y'all. Check out my TikTok videos. My name is Stroke Survivor Sal. You can find me at LaSalle Blanks. That's my real name. And I really appreciate the love, the support, the encouragement I found in the stroke warrior community on TikTok. And I appreciate shows like this one for literally giving all of us a voice, because by sharing, we can all better feel that sense of community, and we can all lean on each other to do better for each other, for ourselves. Thank you very much. And I hope all of you out there give it your all and find that motivation within you